Now, I'm sure nobody's had their dinner yet, right? And if this meeting would have been at Beach Luxury, I could have still said that maybe this is an after tea biscuits speech. This does not at all mean that I miss the tea and biscuits there. And I'm sure nobody does because anyone who's been there know how they are. But anyway, what my manual requires me to assume is, as stated, or as I'm quoting the words here, your audience has just time. They sit back, relax, and digest their food. Their minds are a little foggy and they're drowsy because of the meal. Many of them are becoming tired of sitting and they will start fidgeting in a few minutes. Unquote. And so, before you start fidgeting in a few minutes, I present to you the theme of my speech. And that is my journey at Karachi Toastmasters Club. Now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's been a long journey. And I feel that 8 to 10 minutes might not be enough to summarize the amazing experiences that I've had in this journey. But at the same time, it's been a slow journey. How slow? So all of you have heard about that rabbit and turtle story? No, no, no. I am not the turtle. I am even slower than the turtle. I joined Karachi Toastmasters Club just after a few months after DTM Talha did, and that is somewhere around in September 2016. And when I joined, the now DTM Z had just completed a CC manual. And the reason why I remember this so vividly is because he brought a cake to celebrate his achievement. It was Dead by Chocolate from Pie in the Sky. So next time you want somebody to remember your achievement, I'm sure you know what to do. And so look at them now. They're DTMs. They have served at every level, made the club, area, division, district, and here I am, delivering my 20th prepared speech. And I'm sure this too would have been delayed by me if this month, June 2020, had not been the deadline. So call me a sluggish person, call me a procrastinator, but it is what it is. But if for a moment I were to be honest with my audience here, I would honestly say that it becomes really difficult for me to manage Toastmasters and different projects alongside my university. So moving on with the first thing that, how did I get to know about this club? So for people who know me already, might know that I am a Scrabble player as well. So all these Scrabble activities also used to take place at Beach Luxury. And one day I was there with my dad for some Scrabble activity, and my dad saw that KTC's poster displayed outside one of the rooms of Beach Luxury. And this is how I got to know about it. So I must say that the poster does a very good job in attracting people towards KTC. But the first time when I attended the session, I was there with my mom. I entered the room with my mom and I sat there for a few minutes. But as soon as my mom got to know that there's a table topic session in which guests are also invited to speak, she left me all alone in that room and ran away. She hid somewhere in the pool side of the hotel. But I must say that I didn't feel lonely at all because everybody was so friendly and the atmosphere was very warm and welcoming. So coming to the scary part, the table topic. I can recall that DTM Sameer was the table topics master that day. And the topic I was given was my patience and my breaking point. And late DTM Salim was the table topics evaluator. And he gave me a really encouraging remarks that I was speaking at a champion speed and I had a lot of potential, but I definitely need to be coming to the meetings even more in order to polish my skills. And he even gave me a Toastmaster magazine to go back and read it at home. So I really enjoyed the meeting. But as soon as I got back home, this is what I told my mom. No, this club is not for me. I am just a second year intermediate student. This club is for people who are graduates, who are doing their jobs, who are in their professional lives. But my mom, who actually did not attend the meeting, but was very confident on her opinion, said, this place is just the right place for you and you are going to the meetings from now on. And so I kept on going to the meetings, kept on improving and enjoying these sessions. And then after a few sessions, I finally gathered the courage to deliver my first speech, the icebreaker. And I could see that it went really well. Everybody loved it. And I also won the Best Speaker Award that day for my speech. And then I kept on attending sessions and did different roles. But then eventually in March 2017, I had to take a break because of my second year exams, and then I had my MCAT lined up. I returned somewhere around in March 2018. So yes, this was a big 1 year gap in between. And as soon as I returned, I was all prepared to deliver my second project. And it was titled as Trying is Better Than Trying. Now, my second project was a declamation actually. I'd written a declamation for a declamation competition. I did some modifications and delivered it at KTC. So when I was delivering it, it was also in a declamation style. And that is a very assertive style. So I could see that I wasn't really motivating anyone. I was just asserting my ideas on them. Like, keep on trying, no matter what happens. You do not have to give up, just never cry. And I could see that it did not play out well because I did not win the Best Speaker Award that day. But also because after the meeting, Toastmaster Imran, who's a great mentor, without any doubt, texted me telling me that this isn't the approach we have at Toastmasters. At Toastmasters, we are a lot more encouraging towards people. So we share our own personal experiences or anecdotes in an attempt to motivate others, and then we leave the call of action on them. So it's up to the audience that whether or not do they want to act upon and follow the message that we try to give them, but we never impose our ideas on anyone. So this was the advice I got from him, and I implemented this on my future projects. So I kept on giving projects with big gaps, of course. Gaps are mandatory for me. So during this time, I have given different types of projects, maybe informative speeches like the plastic, like the water crisis in Pakistan or the dangers of plastic. I have also given motivational and inspirational speeches, like one I can recall a speech about failures, a speech about my personal journey, my love-hate relationship with that parliamentary debates. I've also given humorous and entertaining speeches. And but despite of giving those, I can still say that humor is something that I still really struggle with. And that is because I don't know why, but I find delivering humor difficult. I feel writing serious material and delivering serious material a lot more easier than humorous. But then again, in order to become a good speaker, one must know how to incorporate humor in their speeches because it really helps you connect with your audience and engage with them better. And I also learned the art of storytelling. But KTC didn't just taught me to deliver different types of speeches. It also taught me to evaluate them. So I remember when KTC was having its evaluation speech contest, I wasn't at all willing to participate. The reason being because I had never evaluated anyone before and I didn't want to just directly go into the contest. But the senior Toastmasters encouraged me to do so. And I did participate. And to my surprise, I ended up doing pretty well. And I was one of the podium finishers in my first evaluation speech contest. And with respect to evaluations, I feel that my greatest achievement so far was being given the opportunity to represent this club at a district level evaluation speech contest. And moving on, not only did this club teach me to evaluate different types of speeches, it also taught me leadership and time management skills. And how can I say that? Because I was given the opportunity to chair two contests last year, evaluation speech contest and humorous speech contest. And through these contests, I learned how to coordinate with others, how to handle everybody's tantrums. That is a joke. There are no tantrums. All KTC members are no doubt very humble and very cooperative. I learned the art of multitasking because as a contest chair, you have to juggle with so many things at the same time. All in all, to summarize, I'd like to say that Karachi Toastmasters Club and Toastmasters in general is the best platform that I have come across. Because this is the platform where you can not only engage with new people, you can connect with them, you can socialize with them. At the same time, you can learn a lot of new skills and also help others do the same. So, if we have any guest in the meeting right now, I'm sure you know what to do. Contact the VP membership right after the meeting ends. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Sorry about that. For the second speaker, TM Imran Rana, I would like to call upon his evaluator, TM Najam Rizvi. So TM Najam, could you please explain the objectives?
So can I be heard and I can be seen, I can see?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Thank you. Well, today we have our club president, Toastmaster Imran Rana, giving the final speech from his competent communication manual, which is the 10th speech, and the objectives of the speech are to inspire your audience. So I'd like to tell the audience to get hold of their emotions, because he's going to play around with them and try to inspire you as a group, as an individual. Now, the objective of this speech is to conflate all the previous 9 project speeches that member has done, and to really deliver something which is inspirational and moving for the audience. We know Imran, Toastmaster Imran, as a very good president. He has been able to motivate a lot of people to probably complete their projects or outdo themselves. So today it's Imran Rana's turn to give his final speech. So please welcome Toastmaster Imran. Over to you.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
2, 1, the gunshot. Everyone started running towards their journey to compete as early as possible. But there's one who completely left behind. Now he's getting some pace, completing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and he is so close to finishing line, and he's did it. People were chanting and applauding. Finally, he did it. We planned so many things in life. Sometimes we achieved our targets within our time limits, and sometimes it takes years to complete it. The real success is the one, instead of giving up, abandon your targets. There's always a way back. Take few steps in the right direction and you will get it. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, on April 1st, 2015, I officially joined Toastmasters. Now, most of you must be thinking, how many years he has been a Toastmaster? Let me make it easy for you. I've been a Toastmaster for the last 5 years. Before that, I attended so many sessions as a guest with DTM Rashid Dastagi. It won't be wrong to say that he is the one. He is the one. Yes, he is the one who introduces Toastmasters to me. When I attended session as a guest, people asked me to become a member. My answer to them, yes, I plan to join it soon, and that soon never came soon. On becoming member, people asked me to deliver projects. My reply would be same. Yes, I have planned to deliver it soon, and that soon never came soon. After 3 months of hardships by my mentors, DTM Rashid and Toastmaster Hassan Ali Tebu, finally, I took the first step and delivered my icebreaker speech on a very hot day of summer in June. After that, it took me a whole year to deliver second, third, and fourth project. I discovered that something pushing me back, something won't allow me to deliver my projects, and that something was my procrastinated mind, my negative thoughts, and my fears. Fear of humiliation, fear of forgetting speeches, and fear of facing the audience. And I never, and I never tried to overcome those fears. I decided to help everyone, especially the new Toastmasters, to help them in their speeches, to help them to overcome their fear, and to help them to become a better and a confident speaker. And I couldn't help myself. I thought I found my calling. I utilized my keen instincts and abilities to help to help many Toastmasters as they started their journey and then disappeared into the sunsets, completing projects after projects and manuals after manuals. I discovered that I was not enough to deliver my projects. I found I made a cocoon of altruism around me and considered that the best thing is to help others is the greatest virtue of all. And now I discovered that I will not going to deliver my speeches, and I only help others. When I graduated to VP Education and then President, when I graduated to VP Education and then President, that nose became tired, and I found comfortable in anonymity, so less in an action. I was paralyzed with fear. But then something happened. Something made me question my motives. Was I afraid or lazy, or was the one who was not interested in self-improvements? That was the time, fellow Toastmasters, when I look back to my journey, I really wanted to weep out loud. As I've already earned so many things as become a leader, but my communication, my communication skills were remain questionable. At that time, I decided no matter how much I've wasted my time and how much I have far lagging behind, I will restart my journey. I wrote my project 5 and delivered it. It was not an ideal, but it was a start. I wrote project number 6. I slowly found something inside me who is a better speaker, who is a confident speaker. All he needed to be awakened. Then I delivered project 7, project 8, and then project 9. In last meeting at KTC, I received unbelievable feedback. It was beyond my expectations. my speeches were being evaluated and actually found inspiring by some of the best Toastmasters I knew. Now I feel that not only I I was being unfair to myself, but to those who believed in me. Fellow Toastmasters, don't uh, uh, try to believe in yourself and try to have those people around you who admires your ability. And now, after 5 years, 2 months, and 24 days of my journey, I'm delivering the last project of Competent Communicator Manual. And I feel that I have discovered myself that I should go for DTM. Each and every one of you can become a DTM. All you need to do is to be a thinker rather than, all you need to be a doer rather than a thinker or procrastinator. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, all you need is to be a doer. That's what Toastmasters requires all from you, and that's all requires life from you. No matter how late you are, how far have you strayed, there's always a way back. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Musa and Mr. President, shall we give a 10-minute break for prayers and then reconvene?
If possible, let's have more, sir. Or
Sorry, did you say something, Toastmaster Latif?
no, it's okay, sir. It's okay, whatever.
I think we can have a break, 10 minutes, and then we can reconvene.
It's 7:26. We'll reconvene at 7:36. I suggest everyone to keep yourselves logged in, because it's a requirement of the meeting for the quorum, etc. And just mute your devices or something, and then reconvene in 10 minutes.
and they come up with all the best quality which they possess. So, well, as far as this modest quality is concerned, since this platform Toastmaster is a platform where people are there with their extravagant energies. So people who, in fact, use the stage to speak, but they would not accept themselves as one of the greatest speaker. I mean, available in the fraternity of Toastmasters. So, and I probably think that it won't be just to name anybody, to call the name of any particular Toastmaster, and just say that that person is actually very modest, because whoever I met at this platform of Toastmasters, everybody is so energetic that I get a feeling as if I have joined a class where there are a lot of teachers and I am there as a student. So I have something to learn from every other Toastmaster. So to me, all the Toastmasters were there attending the meeting even right now. All of them are my teachers, because I have learned some lesson, from almost every of the Toastmasters. So therefore, I would say that all of the Toastmasters in this fraternity of Karachi Toastmasters Club are actually my teachers, instructors. So they are, to me, they're god of knowledge, because whoever is teaching you something is is actually a god in a limited capacity. So just like that. So with this, I would like to I mean, where is my time? Okay, yeah, this yellow light is my time, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
over.
So I would conclude my topic with the statement that everybody, whoever is attending this meeting right now, I have found some skill in that person, in that Toastmaster. So I learn from everybody. So to me, everybody is a superhero. Back to you, table topic master.
Well, well, uh, you, you, uh, you dodge my topic, but that's okay. I'll my next speaker, you can say, or victim, who will be a DTM Shahrukh Shahnawaz. Please unmute your mic, sir. Thank you very much. So by you, who is the most ethical Toastmaster you've ever met?
Thank you, thank you, table topic master. I hope I am audible, and my video link is working also very well, because for a moment I could not figure this entire Zoom application out. Well, can you please repeat the topic again, if you don't
Yeah.
mind?
So who is the most ethical Toastmaster you have ever met?
Well, in all these years, I have met tremendous and amazing speakers, Toastmasters, and leaders, and the discipline is something which is very important to conduct this meeting. And again, ethics, morality is part of it. Toastmaster Samir was the first Toastmaster who I remember meeting in my first meeting, when Karachi Toastmasters was holding their meeting in this school. I cannot recall the name of the school, but the way he conducted the meeting, he was supposed to be the evaluator of our another Toastmaster Parveen. She had lost her daughter recently at that day, and Toastmaster Samir was his evaluator, and he was very kind. I mean to say that I actually saw the power of the Toastmaster to overcome the grief of someone you have lost. So Toastmaster Samir actually used this activity creatively to help a fellow Toastmaster overcome a grief, that is, to lose a child. And that day I learned that this activity is such a power, that this activity has so much power. We can do so much from this. and that actually opened my eyes. And I have also in one of my last meetings, I was talking to Toastmaster Arusa, and I think there was some guest at that time, and I was telling them that we also took this activity to people who were visually impaired at I Dare You, and the people, they were basically children who are visually impaired and cannot see, but they actually benefited from this activity. They actually got the opportunity to explore how they can be a good speaker and how they can be a good leader. So morality is obviously there, nobility is obviously there. Discipline is number one requirement if you want to be a good Toastmaster. As we have all known Toastmaster Imran, that he will try his best to start the meeting on time. And we have seen DTM Talha when there was another fellow club which could not hold this contest on time. He was very angry, and he showed us that we should always start on time. So yes, I would say DTM Samir, but otherwise every one of us, all the good speakers, all the leaders, we have tremendous power, and this activity, and I've seen them use this activity creatively to help others. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much. And the next speaker, I would like to call upon who I assume won't be as much politically correct, is the president of PSF Toastmaster. If he's with us, a Toastmaster, Ahmed Abdullah. Ahmed, are you there? Ahmed Abdullah is not here. Okay, so just leave it. So my next speaker will be Toastmaster Vilaram. Toastmaster Vilaram, please. Open your mic so we can have a chat. Thank you very much.
Yes, TM Saad. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I am very thankful to all. I have just joined first time as a Zoom meeting, so I am just you are sorry. What I have to just talk about in topic table topic or not? Just I am not understanding. I was on other side.
Yes.
So just repeat
Yes,
your
yes.
question.
Okay.
Sir, your volume is not clear.
Okay, so that's okay now or no? That's okay now or no? That's breaking. Hello, Vilaram. Okay, I think there's some net issues with. Hello, Vilaram.
Hello, Vilaram. Toastmaster Vilaram, can you hear me?
Toastmaster Vilaram.
Problem. I think there is a net problem,
Okay.
so I cannot.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. No problem. We'll now move on to next speaker, which is Toastmaster Navinta Karan. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So, 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 by you, who is the most well dressed Toastmaster?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The topic given to me is who is the best well-dressed Toastmaster. So, like everyone, whenever everyone comes to the meeting, everyone is well-dressed. But I have seen my mentor, KTM Talha, and always, mostly, like most of the time in like blue color the two-piece, or I usually notice that why he always used to wear blue, like most of the meetings he used to wear blue. And then I saw that yes, he is changing colors, and just everyone comes with like in a very well dressed manner, and because that forums gives you so much interaction to different kind of people from all the like fields like CA, medical, and business, and every field. So I think everyone comes in a well dressed manner except the one who's coming from office, very tired looking face, and especially from the hospitals. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a nice answer there. Straight to the point. So, and next we have guest Muhammad Ali. Are you there, sir? He was here a while ago. Guess Muhammad Ali is not here. Okay. Bestie for me. Okay, cool. So, and next we have Toastmaster Amir Bilal. Is open the mic, sir.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Cool. So by you, who's the most honest Toastmaster?
Being honest.
Never lies, nothing, just honesty. Always honest.
All right. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. President, and everybody, all the guests, hope you're doing well. Getting back to the point, you know, it's a tricky question, but I've got an answer. And once you have somebody with the likes of Mr. Talha bin Hamid, he's somebody who comes with, you know, bitter realities at times, and he makes you realize for something with the sweetest dish you maybe, you know, at times hate. But yes, he's someone who is really honest, and I've seen him helping people. I've seen him helping myself getting back to the track. And being honest, I was recently tested positive for COVID, and I was in isolation. And you know, it was a tough time. Yesterday, I received his text, and he said, "We've really been missing you." And I just wanted to come back to life, and I see this being the best reason to be, you know, a kind of normal. So thanks to him, thanks for all his help, and I'm looking forward to following the tracks that he has, you know, showed me, and I really believe in myself and in him to go forward and find myself being better speaker with the passage of time. So thanks to him, and thanks to you as well.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ahmed. So the last speaker we'll have is Toastmaster Azaz. So please Please, can you please open your mic?
Hi, Saad. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. So, by you, who's the most fun, who's the most fun-loving Toastmaster you have met?
Okay, so that's a very tough question because I have more than one person in mind. So can I mention both of them, or you want me to tell only one?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Okay.
both of them.
Okay, awesome.
Whatever
So,
you like.
fellow Toastmasters, by my side, first of all, my mentor, TTM Talab bin Hamid, and the second one is the President Imran Rana. So, best of the time, they've always supported me and in a fun manner. So I would always appreciate that. I've always appreciated the support and for all of you that have been supporting me to join Toastmasters, and I really enjoy being with you guys, and you have always supported me, and for all of you guys' sake, I'm here. And for now, because I couldn't join the meetings on regular basis, so I've always TTM Tala and TM Imran have always been my side to support me and to always lift me up when there was no I was not willing to. So they have always showed me hope in a fun living manner, and they've always encouraged me and supported me and achieving and showing up in Toastmasters meeting. So for my side, they both are the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that brings this a session to an end. So Mr. A timer have all the speakers qualified.
Good evening, TM Saad. TM Navita does not. She spoke for less than 1 minute.
Okay. Okay. So what was her time?
It was not even 1 minute. Close to 1 minute. That's it. 50 seconds, 55 seconds.
Well, I think that means she is qualified, if I'm not wrong. Miss
Yes.
VP or Mr. President?
Everyone is qualified. She's qualified. 45 minutes, 45 seconds, actually, the minimum qualification. So she's qualified.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Cool. So please vote for the best speaker to me, of course, because I'm also the vote counter. I'll be writing the names of the speakers. So then you you can vote for the best. So now let's And let's hand the charge back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Hiba Rice.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Saad. Toastmaster Hiba, I have to interrupt because we would like to start our business meeting now, and the evaluation segment we will have after that this meeting ended. So I guess everything okay.
Yes, you can go on, TM, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hiba. Thank you very much, Toastmaster, for conducting such a wonderful table topic session. So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, today we are gathered here for a very important task, or for a very important responsibility to fulfill, and that is our election, and that is electing our new XCOM. The next this business session is going to be conducted by none other than Toastmaster Hina Osaf. So, Toastmaster Hina, are you there? Toastmaster Hina, are you there? Yes, she is there.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. I'm here.
Wa alaikum assalam, Toastmaster Hina. Thank you very much. Toastmaster Fazan. Okay, this is the business session. So only members are allowed to attend this session. So I request our Sergeant at Arms, co-host Fazan Abbasi, to please request all the guests or what you can do, you can put them in a waiting room, so that after our business meeting ended, they can rejoin it. So all those guests, I request our co-host to please put them in a waiting area, and after the business meeting ended, you can bring them back. So I hope now there will be no guests in this meeting. I hope all the guests are transferred to the waiting area. Toastmaster Fazan, are you there?
Yes, Toastmaster Imran, just give me a couple of minutes more so that I can make sure that all of them are transferred to the waiting room.
I will. There's a participant, Mohammed. The name is not.
I think there is no guest in the list now.
That's Toastmaster Mohsen Jamal. It's okay.
So with that, I would like to hand over the charge to none other than a very dedicated Toastmaster, a very senior most Toastmaster, Toastmaster Hina Osaf Ali.
Thank you, Mr. President. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all of our members today. As you all know, we will be holding our club election now for the 7 XCOM roles from president right to the sergeant at arms role. And our members who are voted into these roles will then take charge of the club and take it forward to be as good as, or inshallah better than it has been so far for the year 2021, starting from a period of 1st July 2020 until the 30th of June 2021. Now, we've had a XCOM nomination committee, or a club leadership committee as it's called, look at various members of the club and invited nominations. And the nomination committee had 2 weeks ago announced 7 members as being their chosen nominees for these roles. And they were announced in that meeting 2 weeks ago, and also on our WhatsApp group for the official group for the club, right? Having said that, it was also announced that for each of these roles, members who had expressed their interest for nomination and did not receive a nomination can still contest from the floor, right? So I hope whoever would like to take up this role is ready for that purpose. I'll just quickly share the requirements of contesting. I will start from the topmost role, which is that of the club president. At that point in time, I will announce briefly what the role is of that XCOM member. And then I would like to, and I will announce who the nominee is again. And then I will invite members to stand from the floor. Once this is done, once we know who all those members are, and each time a member steps forward, actually, let me just make this clear, I will require another member who is present today to ensure that they second this nomination. So they will say, I second this nomination, and they can briefly speak. I would request everybody to speak briefly. There is a 2-minute time that's available, but since we're already past 8 o'clock, I would request you to keep it brief, maybe 30 to 40 seconds, why you believe that person, you're seconding that person for the, to contest. Once this process is completed, then I will start to announce each of the contestants in alphabetical order of their last name. So when you raise your hand and say you'd like to be nominated, and I'd appreciate it if somebody can just keep an eye on the participants who are raising hands. I'd like you to give your full name so that then I can have the order in which I will invite you to speak. Each contestant will then have 2 minutes to speak and express to the club why they believe they are the right person for this role to be voted for. Timer, I would request you to start the time when the member starts speaking and time to 2 minutes. And then after that, tech host, as the time is up, I would like for you to mute that person's mic, right? There is no additional time beyond 2 minutes given to any contestant to speak. Is that clear? Tech host, are you on board? Hello? I'm not getting a response.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's great. And timer, you understand 2 minutes, right? That's great.
Toastmaster Enam,
Yes.
I would like to ask you a question for a clarification.
Yes.
Who can come from everyone, and any member can come, or those who have submitted their nomination to nominating committee?
Anyone can come. Anyone can come from the floor, except the president. The president will currently be going into his immediate past president role, so he's not eligible.
President
for
can
this.
come from any other position other than president.
Yes, I believe they can, but generally, since they are in that advisory role.
As per rules, it is allowed. As per rules, it is allowed. So if president want to come from any position, he can apply.
Yes.
Other than president.
Other than president, he can. That's right. Okay, so now that that's clear, okay, we will. And do we know for sure secretary or president have we ensured that we have quorum today? Mr. President, do we have quorum today?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Okay. All right. So let's begin with these proceedings. The first role in the ExCom and the foremost role is that of president. I will give you a brief indication of what that role requires. As the person who sets the tone for the club, the president is expected to provide helpful, supportive leadership for all the club's activities and be the first to assume responsibility for the progress and welfare of the club. The president motivates, makes peace, and facilitates as required, though he or she must occasionally step in and make a difficult decision. Rarely do they do so without consulting club members and other club officers. The president strives to show respect to all members, even when he or she does not agree with them, and provides leadership to all. Now, our nominee from the nomination committee for president was Toastmaster Arusa Kaval. I would like to now invite members to please let me know if they would like to contest from the floor. Any members would like to contest from the floor for this role. I will ask again, is there any member from the floor who would like to contest? Is someone raising their hand? I cannot see. You can unmute your mic and say so. I will ask a third time and last time. Any member from the floor? Okay, there's no member from the floor. So as of now, Toastmaster Arusa Kaval is our nominee. Is the club secretary present today?
Yes,
Anybody?
Toastmaster Heba is present.
Heba, Toastmaster Heba. Toastmaster Heba, I would like for you to cast a vote in Toastmaster Arusa Kaval's favor to be elected as the president for our term 2021 for Karachi Toastmasters.
Toastmaster Hina.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Toastmaster Hina, I had to ask that how should I go about, like, voting?
Basically, you should just make a note of it. You are the secretary, madam. You just need to make a note of it here. Okay.
That TM Urusa has been casted as the president.
She is the president-elect for the new term. Thanks.
Okay.
Does the nomination have to be seconded?
No, sir, the nomination has been seconded in terms of the secretary the secretary has been asked to cast the vote, to my knowledge, and there was no other contestant standing. So I'd like to ask Toastmaster Arusa Kaval to now please make a brief 2-minute speech for her being elected. Toastmaster Arusa Kaval.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hina. I remember the time we were at a party and it was the DTM's party. In the end, as is tradition with any Toastmaster setting, we were having this table topic session and I got this topic, what if you became the president of the club? What would you do? And I thought, after some thinking, I said, I would continue with what is already being done. And at that time, what was being done was, and could be easily termed as radical. It had brought amazing changes to KTC structure, changes that threatened to score a century in the club numbers, not to mention education awards achieved in that year alone. Frankly, I have trouble understanding radical. For me, it was one baby step at a time, asking questions, taking loads of help. On a personal note, I have given rather shaky icebreakers and done some very insane evaluations. But at every step, I found help, guidance, at every corner, at every role. A I was met with a smiling face despite long, tiring days, laugh here and a joke there. I have been the district newsletter editor, the VPPR, VPE, education chair, you name it. But I'm still growing, and I have finally become the president. And I want to learn more about radical. I want to make sure we can wow others, to make sure we can fly until there is no sky. But let's get practical. The small changes with radical consequences is what I want to know more about. Changes that will bring in more members, increase our education award status, and keep our members engaged and make for a livelier meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arusa. Very well
Toastmaster Hera.
spoken. Yes.
Toastmaster DTM Rashid wanted to say something.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Toastmaster Hina, I just like to ask a question. Like it was written in the club leadership handbook, there is a resolution required to close the nomination for any position. So whether those procedures are also applicable where there is no candidate from floor.
To be honest, I don't recall that I've experienced that before, but sir, you may have done this otherwise. So we request the secretary usually to just cast a vote in favor of that.
नहीं आपकी polling पता होगी कोई आने वाला है floor से.
I believe.
Sir. Toastmaster Rashid? Yes, sir.
I believe it is good to follow whatever is written in rule book. So more importantly, if there is any candidate from floor or not, we should have resolution to close the nomination. Okay. And that is by one member will table the resolution and one member will second that resolution. So one vote and one seconder. So that will, I believe, will complete the process. So because we are having this process first time, so it is good to have as written in the leadership handbook.
Sure.
And second thing is that the candidate speech should be before casting of vote.
Okay.
By the way, in the district council, sorry for interrupting, but in the district council, in the script, it is written that if there is only one candidate, the speech can be waived off because there's only one candidate. And then at least in the district council, one token vote is put in by the admin manager. So I think that even in this case, perhaps if the secretary casts a token vote, that should be enough. Because there's no need for a speech. If there's only one candidate, it's automatic.
Right. So this speech was not part of the request for speaking before the vote is cast. This is once a person is elected. In all of the election proceedings that I have been part of, that has been a practice. If it's not as per the protocol of doing the election, I will refrain from asking the single nominee.
I don't think there is an issue. If we want to listen to our leaders, no harm giving them 2 minutes, and in this way they will prepare their next prepared speech.
And they should do a little
I
table topic.
I have one quick question. Okay, if a candidate is, if there is no candidate from floor and the nominated candidate is selected, just give him 1 minute.
Okay.
Sure. That sounds fair. Okay. Yeah, so we can expedite the process. That's fine. So again, coming back to this proceedings then, do we need to pass a resolution and have someone second that resolution in this case, sir? I would just like to ask again. Because I announced this as the officer right now, I announced it and I asked the secretary to cast, and she says she's casted the vote. So it is, in a sense, the whole point of that is to officially document that into the minutes of the meeting, that that person has, that nominee is now elected and secretary casts the vote. But we can
I
have a
think that
second
should be enough.
person. Yeah, we can have a second
Okay,
person.
okay, fine. I'll second it. If that is the
Okay,
thing, I'll second it.
Right. Great,
Let's
that's
move.
great. So, Secretary, please can you take a note that DTM Samir Dodi has seconded the president-elect. Thank you. Right. Okay. Now that we have that out of the way and carrying on, our next and penultimate role in the XCOM is that of our VP Education. The VP Education normally is the person who schedules members' speeches, verifies their completion of projects, serves as a resource for questions about the education program. He or she organizes speech contests and also the club member program. The VP Education is an important source of Toastmaster knowledge for club members, and it is their job to become familiar with all aspects of the Toastmasters education program. With that, I'd like to now announce that the Education Committee's nominee for VP Education was DTM Talha bin Hamid. DTM Talha bin Hamid. I'd like to now request members who would like to stand from the floor for this role of VP Education. Any member standing from the floor, please, you can turn on your mic and say so. I ask a second time, would any member like to stand from the floor for the position of VP Education? And a final third time, any member who would like to stand from the floor for VP Education? Okay. So with that, I would like to pass the resolution that DTM Talha bin Hamid be elected to the post of VP Education for Karachi Toastmasters Club year 2020-21. Secretary, kindly cast the vote. Can I have another member please second this motion, this resolution?
I second this resolution.
Toastmaster Hiba, as secretary, please note, Toastmaster Ghulam Kadir has seconded this motion. DTM Talha bin Hamid, congratulations on being the VP Education elect. You now have 1 minute as per the agreement here to speak. Congratulations, please. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Today, I won't dwell on the past because what's relevant today is what I will be able to bring to the club for the next year. And my philosophy is simple, and that's what I've always demonstrated previously as well, and that is members first. So everything is orientated towards the members, the agenda, the meetings. You won't ever be turned away from any role or any speech. And also, I'll try to meet the lofty ideals set here by Toastmaster Imran and Toastmaster Rusa. They've achieved something impossible. You'll shortly come to know that they've achieved something together that very few clubs in the world have been able to do now, and it won't be possible the next year. So I'll keep you in suspense for that. All I can say is that I'll try my best to actually do some justice to this amazing legacy. And thank you everyone for imposing your confidence in myself. Over to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations again, DTM Talha. Right, we now move on to the third role a most important role in the club, and that is of the VP membership. The VP membership promotes the club and manages the process of bringing in guests and transforming them into members by initiating contact with guests, helping them feel welcome, and providing them with information. The VP membership needs the information they need to join. The VP membership helps to maintain a constant influx of new people into the club. He or she also attentively monitors membership levels and strategizes with the rest of the executive committee about how to overcome membership challenges when they occur. Now, the nominee for the VP membership, as per the leadership nomination committee, was Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. Are you present, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti? I'm not sure that he's in the meeting today.
I think he was driving on the motorway.
Actually, he was.
When he spoke. He was driving on the motorway. That's what he said.
He was on the motorway.
He was on the motorway, yeah.
I see. Okay.
He's going to be online. He's going to be online.
He's going to be online shortly? Okay. In the meantime, can I ask members from the floor, any member from the floor who's interested to stand for the role of VP membership? Could you raise your hands or unmute your mic and let us know? Toastmaster Umar Hayat?
Yes, I would like to stand from the floor.
Okay, could I have another member please second his nomination?
I will second his nomination.
May I know who that was? I couldn't see who that was.
Shahrukh Shanwaz.
Shahrukh Shanwaz. Toastmaster Hiba, please could you just note that? Toastmaster Umar Hayat would like to stand from the floor. And Toastmaster Shahrukh Shanawaz has seconded his nomination. Is there any other member at all who would like to stand from the floor? I ask a second time for VP membership. Any member standing from the floor? Please unmute your mic and let me know. I'll ask a third time. Any member standing from the floor for VP membership? Okay. With that, we will close the nominations. So we now have 2 members who are up for this role, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti and Toastmaster Umar Hayat. In alphabetical order, it is Javed Bhatti's privilege to speak first to address the club. Can we know if he's able to be online? Toastmaster Rana, Imran Rana, President, sir.
I'm trying to contact him, but I think he's lost his signal. So we can ask Umar to go first.
Okay. Timer, please time. Toastmaster Umar Hayat will have 2 minutes to speak, after which Toastmaster Saad Shoaib, please kindly mute him. Over to you, Toastmaster Umar Hayat.
Hello, Toastmasters. It was exactly a year ago since I joined Toastmasters. And I remember that in my first speech in July of 2019, I was shivering in fear before my speech. I was reading off the paper during my speech. And after this speech, I did not know how well I had done, because that was my first speech. Since then I have made such enormous improvement, not just in my public speaking, but also in my personal life, that I credit Toastmasters for. So why do I want to be EP membership? Because I strongly believe that Toastmasters has had such an enormous influence on my life that I want everyone in this city to know that there is a wonderful club like this that they can join. And if I, as a person who at that time stuttered in every sentence, if I can do well as a speaker, then they can also benefit from being in Toastmasters. One of the great things about Toastmasters is that the entire process is organized so well that you believe that the system is designed to make you succeed. In being a part of the organizing committee, I will make sure that the next year is equally organized, and people who join Toastmasters next and who I convince to
It's over. That
Okay, with
the
that,
mic is muted.
Thank
The
you.
limit is up.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Umar Hayat, for your speech. I would like to now ask again if Toastmaster Javed Bhatti is among us yet.
No, he's not.
He's not among us. Okay. This is a very different scenario that, to be honest, that I haven't come across. So the thing that we have is we have the nominee Toastmaster Javed Bhatti, who is not present here in the meeting and so has not been able to speak. But we have to take a vote. Toastmaster Rashid Dastagir, if I may call on you to possibly advise, do we go for a vote now, or shall we accept Toastmaster Umar Hayat's nomination? It is a
Toastmaster Hina,
yes,
I have read that if any candidate is not present, any member can come up and fill the speaking on his behalf, and then you can go for voting. So
that's fine.
you can request anyone who can speak on behalf of Javed Bhatti, and then
I
we
will
can go
second
for voting.
that the candidate doesn't need to be physically present.
Present. Right. Okay. So in that case, I would like to request another member of the club who can speak for a 2-minute, maximum 2 minutes in favor of Toastmaster Javed Bhatti.
Hey, just a minute. I received voice message from Javed Bhatti. Just a minute.
Sure.
He's coming. He's joining. He's joining.
He's joining just now? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, Javed Bhatti is in.
Toastmaster Javed Bhatti.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you for joining the meeting. It is the time now for you to make your 2-minute speech for the position of VP membership. Over to you.
Thank you so much, TM Hina. And I have not prepared any speech, but I will just speak my heart out. Actually, I'm driving. I'm on my way, so I'm a little. I'm where I'm at is the place. I don't have proper signals coverage here, so if I lose the connection, please excuse me. I have already done some work in the capacity of assistant VPPR from last 6 months, and since I have been nominated as a VP membership, so I will try my level best to induct as many new members as possible, and for that purpose, I already have a vast network of individuals since I belong to so many different social clubs. So I will try my level best to induct. I will try my best to pitch the Toastmaster network, to the Toastmaster program, to the new networks that I have in my grasp, to the new people. And also I also plan to launch a video series to utilize the power of social media in the new era, because I believe that we are lacking a little bit on that. I believe we should emphasize on video campaigns, video marketing. And for that, I would work in joint hands with VPPR, and hopefully, as we are the KTC, we are the biggest club in Pakistan, and together we are going to make this club the biggest club in the world, inshallah. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. With that, I would like now for all the members to cast a silent vote. Toastmaster Imran?
Toastmaster Hina?
Yes, sir.
Toastmaster Hina?
Yes, sir. DTM Rashid? Yes.
Motion is needed to close the nomination. First,
yes.
Have
Okay.
motion passed to close the nomination, then go for vote by members.
Sure, sure. So with this, with these speeches, I now close the nominations for the VP membership role. May I have another member please second this motion?
I second.
I would like to second the motion for closing the nominations.
Right. Secretary Hiba, please note the nomination has been seconded by Toastmaster Talha, DTM Talha, Toastmaster Imran, and Toastmaster Najam. Resounding second motion. Okay. Now that this is done.
TM Hena, could you repeat what you said? You said nomination?
The nomination for VP membership is closed.
Okay.
Right. So we have Toastmaster Javed Bhatti and Toastmaster Umar Hayat for these roles. And this motion has been seconded by DTM Talha.
Toastmaster Hina,
yes, Toastmaster
could I
Imran.
say something?
Yes.
Could we have a little bit of brief explanation how will we going to cast vote, because members are asking?
Yes, I know. This is precisely what I was going to ask you again. At the moment, we are only members in this room, right? What I would like for all members to do is please cast your vote with the secretary in a personal message and
Toastmaster Hina,
yes.
Toastmaster Fazan has already made the poll. So if you want, you can share the poll and
That's
everyone
fine. That's fine. Okay. If we're doing it through
One more
the
thing,
polling,
if someone, one more point I have, if any member is logged in with 2 devices, we should request him or her to leave from one device, because if Zoom poll is created, they will get 2 options, 2 votes.
yes, absolutely. What I would like to do very quickly is Toastmaster Fazan, if you could quickly check who all are in an additional capacity and how many members are actually present, because the total vote should be considered here. So all the members who are there forming the quorum, everybody has to cast a vote. Yes.
And I guess Toastmaster Unsa is using 2 devices.
Toastmaster Arusa Mohsin or Toastmaster Arusa Kamal?
With the name of Unsa, there are 2 devices. One was Unsa K and the other one is Unsa O.
There are 2 members with that name.
They are 2 different members. That's what I was
2
thinking.
different
Urusa
Kamal and
Urusa Mohsin.
Arusa Mohsin. Arusa Mohsin, can I just request you quickly to confirm that your name
Yes,
that's displayed, that's Arusa Mob or Mobile? That's you?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Toastmaster Fazan, have we made sure that there is only 1 device logged in for all the members who are present here?
As far as name is concerned, which is appearing in front of me. Yeah, there are no recognition.
Do we have confirmation that there is only 1 single device login from all the members here?
Yes, Toastmaster, as far as name is concerned, there is no duplication except for Urusa, which was confirmed by.
Okay, so there's Urusa Mohsin and Urusa Kamal. They're separate members. Right, so we have 40 members here. Fazan, if you could launch the poll and ensure that you have 40 votes and let me know.
We have 35 members attending the meeting.
35 members.
35.
That's
Yes, we have 35 members.
Yes, we do have 35, sorry. 35.
Toastmaster Hina, polling is on.
Right.
Just confirm me when it should be off.
Once you have 35 votes in, as there are 35 attendees, then you should turn it off.
For some reason, I'm just viewing the results. I haven't received the ballot.
Yeah,
So,
me too. Me too. Same.
So, is that a limitation with the hosts and co-hosts? If that is so, then we can share our vote privately with the sergeant at arms.
Yes, please do that. Please do that.
I
Yes.
guess that's the reason. Because we both are co-consensus.
It means, Tala, you are not entitled to vote. Keep away from voting. Stay away from voting.
I protest.
What
Even
I can do,
even this technology telling you.
Toastmaster Tara, what I can do is remove you both of
Well, that is actually quite a relief because I wanted to vote for both.
I you guys from the floor side.
Voting for both can happen only in Pakistan.
Okay, Toastmaster Talha and Saad, could you please confirm
Yes.
now?
Yes, yes. I've just voted.
Members have to vote.
Toastmaster Hera, only one member, I guess. No, two members are left to vote.
2 members are left.
So far.
Okay, I'm just trying to reconfirm here what is the magical number of the quorum. If we have had the quorum vote, I believe we can close the vote then. So who can confirm this to me? President, would you be able to confirm what the number is of the quorum? The number of members to reach quorum?
Quorum was 30 members because we have total 58 members. So minimum
Right.
quorum was 30. And we have continuously had over 33, 34 throughout.
Right.
And
So
now we have 33.
so we needed about 30 members to have quorum. And Toastmaster Faizan, you confirm that how many, 32 or 33 have voted?
Yeah, 32 members have voted.
32 members have voted. That's fine.
Should I
Just
end
to
the polling now?
Yes, please do end the polling now, if all are not voting. DTM Rashid, is that fine?
I believe so.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam
Faizan,
Toastmaster,
if
could
you
you
could,
also please confirm that should I share the result now?
can you need to please share the results with me so that I can announce it. And just to be sure, what you're saying is it will come on screen what the result is
Yeah, on everyone's screen. If I'm
on
going to share.
everyone's screen. Okay. So I guess I suppose we can do that. But if you could just let me know quickly in a private message and then share it.
Just on a side note, I'd like to mention to everyone that, it's not possible for us to hold elections every week. So please kindly continue attending the meetings in future as well, just like this.
You need to request those elected, they should not resign because it's a very tiring effort to elect someone.
Yeah.
Toastmaster, can I have a text message from you on WhatsApp?
Did you send me the names in a private message or have you WhatsApped them to me? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Send me at the WhatsApp so that I can share.
Are you sharing it with me? I'm still sort of, this is slightly delaying the process. If you could.
I want you to give me a text message on my WhatsApp number if you have.
On your. Oh, okay. You could have you. Okay.
I couldn't find it. Sorry. Yeah, it's
There you go. If you could just very quickly. Oh, okay. 1 second. All right. All right. Okay, so we have the results now. So we had 12 votes for Toastmaster Umar Hayat and oh my goodness. Can you now just show that on screen as well, Fazan? The results. So there were 12 votes for Toastmaster Umar Hayat and 20 votes for Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. I would like to now pass a resolution that Toastmaster Javed Bhatti is elected to the post of BB membership for Karachi Toastmasters Club year 2020-21. Congratulations, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. Can I have another member please second this motion?
Yes, I would like to
second this motion. There are more than one members.
Okay, so I heard and I saw Toastmaster Nivinta raise her hand. Secretary, kindly note Toastmaster Nivinta Karan has seconded this motion. Congratulations, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. Okay, now that we've had the first round of voting, let's move on to the next role. Our next role is just as important as that of BB membership. In fact, I believe these two roles work in tandem to promote the club and bring in new members. The role is that of BP Public Relations. The BP Public Relation of the club promotes the club to the local community and notifies the media about the club's existence and the benefits it provides. He or she promotes the club, updates the web content, safeguards the Toastmasters brand identity. It's his or her job to nominate the media, to notify the media whenever the club does anything newsworthy. As VP Public Relation, he or she will find themselves writing news releases, creating and distributing flyers, and maintaining the club's presence on the web and in the community. Having said that, our nomination committee had nominated Toastmaster Saad Shoaib for the role of VPPR, or Public Relations. I would like to now invite any members for the floor who would like to contest for this role of VPPR. Toastmaster Nivinta Karan? Okay. Can I have another member please second Toastmaster Nivinta Karan's nomination? Toastmaster Azhar Ramadan. Secretary, please note, Toastmaster Nivinta Karan has stood for the floor for the role of VPPR, and Toastmaster Azhar Ramzan has seconded this motion. I'll ask again, any other members who would like to stand from the floor for the role of VPPR? And one final time. Is there any other member who would like to stand for the role of VPPR from the floor? Okay, with that, I'd like to pass the resolution that the nominations for the role of VPPR are now closed. Can I have another member please second this motion?
I second the resolution.
Thank you. Toastmaster Hiba, please note, Toastmaster Najam has seconded this resolution. I would like to now invite the two nominees in...
Excuse me, TM Hana,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but TM Najam has closed the nominations. Seconded
Yes.
and closed.
Seconded closing the nominations. Yes, that's right.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So I'd like to invite now the two nominees to speak each for 2 minutes in alphabetical order of their last names. With that, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Navinta Karan. Please go first. Timer, please note 2 minutes of time. And host, please ensure to mute her mic after 2 minutes. Thank you. Toastmaster Navinta.
Yeah, hello, I'm audible to everyone? Okay, so I would like to say that for me, BPR is a good thing because I think I am socially active and I can promote KTC's business. KTC is like platform on many forms as social and different pages on Facebook and Instagram, because I have my personal health related blogs as well, and I do motivate people on different kinds of forum, health related and other influencing things. So I really think I can do it on a larger scale. So that's why I just opted this. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Navinta. Sorry. Okay, I'd like to now invite Toastmaster Saad Shoaib to please speak for two minutes. Toastmaster Saad, you're there?
Okay. Yes, I'm here.
Timer 2 minutes, and host, please mute after 2 minutes. Thank you. Toastmaster Saad.
Okay, wait on just for a minute. I think I'm quite audible. Okay. Just wait on. Let me just have some water first because that's a big moment.
TM Saad, if you can remove the background.
Okay, so I'll just remove the background because that will just okay. What makes me think I can? Fellow Toastmasters and KTC members. First, let me just tell you what I will do as your next VPPR. My strategy will be simple. Content, engagement. I'll make sure that each and every new member is highlighted and each and every existing member's achievements are celebrated for a large audience to see. And for that, I intend to revive the dead social media platforms of KTC, may it be LinkedIn, may it be Twitter, and also some more things. Now, what makes me think that I can do it? Well, may it be managing the LinkedIn page of our district 122, or may it be being an active member of the PR committee of the first District 122 conference. I've been there, I've done that. Also, with some other notable achievement. Even outside of Toastmasters, I've also had the experience of I've had the experience of multiple years working as as a digital media and marketer, and also managing 3 social media platforms which are over 2,000 followers. So having said all of that, whatever I will do, that's for you. So the power to make it happen is all over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saad. With this, I would now like to request Toastmaster Faizan to please have the poll ready. There's been a suggestion made that we'll have the poll open for a maximum of 2 minutes. And I would just request Faizan to ensure that in those 2 minutes, we reach the quorum that is approximately 30 members, right? So if we have a vote of 30 in the 2 minutes, that's good. Otherwise, leave it open till we have 30, right?
Okay, it's
Toastmaster
available
Hina,
in Manchester.
quorum is
Yes.
not necessary for voting. Only quorum is necessary to initiate the voting. You don't need to have 30 votes, because if someone is not want to vote for any candidate, so you cannot force him. So keep the limit of 2 or 3, whatever time limit you want to set.
I think 2 minutes is a good time. Members, if I could just request you, we're already at past 9 p.m. So we've been at this for an hour. So if you could
here it
quickly
is.
cast your vote, and if you don't, that's fine.
So Sabina, you can check your WhatsApp for the results.
Toastmaster Hina, you are on mute.
Sorry, I was just asking Toastmaster Faizan if the process is complete. And yes, it's complete. You can now display the results, Toastmaster Faizan. So we had 30 votes cast. Toastmaster Navinta Karan received 12 votes, and Toastmaster Saad Shoaib received 18 votes. With that, I close this part of the election, and I would like to pass a resolution to announce the election of Toastmaster Saad Shoaib as the next VVPR for Karachi Toastmasters Club for the year 2021. Congratulations, Toastmaster Saad.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we would like Toastmaster Navinta to be part of the VPPR team.
Yes, indeed. For all those who
Yes,
are trying from the floor and you do not get voted, there is the option. You work in the committee, and of course, that forms a base for the next year. We're all here and dedicated. Right.
Absolutely.
Can I have somebody please second this resolution for the elected?
I second that.
Toastmaster Imran Rana has seconded the election of Toastmaster Saad Shoaib to VPPR. Secretary, please note. Okay. With this, we move to the fifth role, and a very, very important role indeed, that of the club secretary. We'll just briefly let you know the responsibilities of the club secretary. The club secretary maintains all club records, manages club files, handles club correspondence, and takes the minutes at each club meeting and executive committee meeting. He or she also is in charge of updating and distributing a roster of the current paid members and keeping the club officer list current for Toastmasters International. Though some clubs combine the role of secretary and treasurer, it is best to have a dedicated secretary who can help reduce the workload of the treasurer and occasionally also assist the VP president, VP education as well. Ordering supplies for the clubs is also the responsibility of the club secretary. Our nomination committee had nominated Toastmaster Umar Hayat for this role, and I would like to now please request members from the floor if they would like to contest for the role of club secretary. Any members from the floor who would like to contest for the role of club secretary? Kindly turn on your mic and let me know. I ask a second time, any members who would like to stand from the floor for club secretary? And I ask a third time, any members from the floor who would like to stand for club secretary? Since there is no interest, I would like to close this nomination. Toastmaster Umar Hayat, I would request you to speak for 2 minutes after I pass the resolution. As there's no other member contesting from the floor, I would like to pass the resolution of electing Toastmaster Umar Hayat to the club secretary role for Karachi Toastmasters Club for the year 2021. Can I have a member please second this resolution?
I second.
Toastmaster Hiba, please note, Toastmaster Imran Rana has seconded the resolution for the election of Toastmaster Umar Hayat. Toastmaster Umar Hayat, you now have 2 minutes to address the club. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Toastmaster Umar Hayat, I'm not sure that we all can everybody hear him? I cannot hear him.
No, we can.
No, we cannot.
Right. So can you just check on your mic and your connection?
Unmute your mic, Toastmaster Umar.
It actually was
His
unmuted
mic is
before.
muted.
right now it was unmuted before. Can you speak? You're unmuted. We cannot hear you for some strange reason.
Can I
He's
can I
actually.
can I give a suggestion?
Yes, sure, Toastmaster Imran.
Toastmaster Umar, we request you to record your voice message and share it at WhatsApp group.
Great. Okay, that's great. Thank you for your quick thinking and a wonderful suggestion, Toastmaster Imran. Sorry. Congratulations again, Toastmaster Hayat. And with this, we'll move on to the second last and yet again a very important role of the ExCom, and that is of the club secretary. The club secretary is basically the club's accountant. He or she manages the club. Treasurer, sorry. I'm so sorry. I think I'm starting to get tired. Sorry. So the club treasurer, the sixth and yet still a very important role in the club's ExCom. He or she is the club's accountant. He or she would manage the club's bank account if we have one, write checks to be approved by the executive committee, and deposit membership dues and payments and other club revenues. Club treasurer also is in charge of submitting membership dues payments to the world headquarters, accompanied by a list of the renewing members, and filing necessary tax documents and keeping timely, accurate, and up-to-date financial records of the club. Though the treasurer's duties are usually not the most demanding of all the club leadership positions, the consequences for members can be serious when this member, the treasurer, does not complete them accurately on a timely basis. So all accountants, this is an extremely important role. For this role, our nomination committee had nominated Toastmaster Shamam Khan for the role of treasurer. I would now like to invite members who would like to stand from the floor for this role. Please turn on your mic and let me know. Any members who would like to stand for the position of treasurer from the floor? And finally, a last time, any members who would like to stand from the floor for the position of treasurer? Okay. With that, I'd like to pass a resolution to close the nominations and request the secretary to cast a vote in favor of Toastmaster Shamam to be elected to the role of club treasurer. Can I have another member please second this resolution?
I second that.
Toastmaster Imran has seconded this resolution. Toastmaster Hiba, have you noted? I'd like to now invite Toastmaster Shamam Khan. Congratulations on being the treasurer-elect for Karachi Toastmasters for the year 2021. You have 2 minutes to address the club. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hina, and fellow Toastmasters, and for the nomination committee for accepting my nomination. I'm fully aware that Karachi Toastmasters Club holds highest level of recognition in distinguished club programs and president's distinguished clubs. And this does not come without keeping financial records and timely finance reporting to executive committee. Now, keeping the legacy of outgoing treasurer of KTC and with the vision of taking the stature of KTC one notch above in distinguished programs, I'm tremendously excited to completing and looking forward to completing my commitment with this position in ExCom, and I will dig deep to finish strong. All the best to the ExCom for 2021. Over to you, Toastmaster Hina.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shamam Khan. And we're all here to support you as well. That's wonderful. Now with that done, last role that of the sergeant at arms of the club. Being the last role, it is one of the most important roles. The person who makes sure the meetings setup is done properly, and in this environment of our online meetings, that everything is done to a T, as Toastmaster Faizan has been demonstrating all this time. Very briefly, the Sergeant at Arms is someone who keeps track of the club's physical properties such as the banners, lectern, timing device, and other meeting materials. The SAA arrives early to the meeting place for meetings and stays late to stow off all these club equipments. He or she also is in charge of the meeting place itself, obtaining a new place when necessary and maintaining contact with the people who allow you to use the space for your club meetings. The Sergeant at Arms also has a role to play during business meetings, speech contests, and other special club events. The Sergeant at Arms stands at the door while contestants compete in a speech contest to ensure that the speaker is not interrupted by loiterers. Okay, with that, I would like to now announce the nominee from the nomination committee for this position, and that is Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum. I would also now like to invite members from the floor who would like to take up this role of Sergeant at Arms. Any members interested to take up the role of Sergeant at Arms? And finally, a third time, is there any member who would like to take up or contest the role of Sergeant at Arms? With no nominations from the floor, I pass a resolution to close this nomination and elect Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum as our Sergeant at Arms for Karachi Toastmasters Club for the year 2021. May I have another member, please?
I
Second this
second the resolution.
Toastmaster Najam Rizvi has seconded the resolution. Congratulations, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum. You now have 2 minutes to address the club. Over to you.
Toastmasters. Good evening, Toastmasters, and thank you so much for electing me as the Sergeant at Arms. Being a new in the tech art club, I am very re-inspired from the ESCOM, from our president, PP education, all help me, guide me and foster me. And then in the in 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 the in the contest, I got a call from the president that they want me to assist Secretary the arms for the evaluation contest. Then that was a great learning experience for me. And now, luckily, I am the secretary at arms of KTC, one of the biggest club of Pakistan or the Asia. So I think hope for the best. We have a great team. We have a great EXCOM, and we are going to pursue the same legacy that last year we have achieved so much. So I think it's a great honor for me to be the Sergeant at Arms of one of the biggest Toastmaster club, and being so young and a new Toastmaster. It's a great honor for me. Thank you, all of you, for electing me.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali Ashar. And congratulations again. Congratulations to all of our newly elected ExCom who will be taking charge of the club from the next meeting. I would just like to very quickly ask our club president and indeed our stalwarts of the club, would we now be installing the ExCom today, or will we have a separate ceremony for this in the next meeting?
If it's possible, we can install it today. There's no harm in that.
Okay. Just one moment then. Okay, here we go. So are all of the ExCom, the elected ExCom present now? Just a quick question.
Yes,
Yes, I'm there.
I'm here.
President.
I
VP,
guess Toastmaster
education.
Javed Bhatti is still not here.
Javed Bhatti is, I guess we
David
can
is online.
I'm here.
You're here. Okay, that's great. Great, Toastmaster Javed. That's wonderful. Okay. Let me just go to that quickly. All right. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is, I'm not sure how we're going to do it in this environment. Usually we invite the ExCom members to come and stand next to the installation officer in the order from SAA right up to president. Okay. And we have a process of discharging the existing ExCom of their duties. So is it somehow possible to get only the cameras on of all of the existing ExCom from VP, right from SAA right up to our immediate past president, please? If everybody else could we could all switch off our cameras and only have the existing ExCom appear on screen. Right. Is everybody
Yes,
here? The existing ExCom is Toastmaster Imran, Toastmaster Arusa.
Toastmaster Javed, he's opened the video. Yes.
No, I would like the existing ExCom only. That is for year 1920 to have their cameras on at the moment. First, just very quickly.
Yes, apologies for that.
Not a problem.
She means to say
do that.
for the year 2019.
The outgoing ExCom. Let me just rephrase that. Very, very quickly.
Unfortunately, Toastmaster Hina, I couldn't.
Is everybody there?
Yes.
All outgoing members. Okay, great.
Can I start? Can the tech host start my video, please? It's closed. Yes, shut it.
So this is all of the outgoing ExCom very, very quickly.
Yes.
Shamam, are you?
Shamam.
Okay.
Please stop the video.
So now I would just like to say to all of the outgoing ExCom, you have been great leaders to this club, taken us to new heights, to amazingly dizzying heights. In all of this very unusual circumstance of being under a lockdown, we have still done wonderfully, and we will continue to do so. And we are ever grateful for your services. Can I have everybody please applaud this ExCom? With that, I discharge you from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of the Karachi Toastmasters Club. Thank you very much.
Free, free as a mean of bird.
Sorry, but like immediate past president is still the member of XCOM, Toastmaster Imran. You have no right to celebrate, okay?
Yeah, he was, and he is. So he needed to be thanked for this as well. Absolutely and unequivocally. Thank you, DTM Talha. All right. And now if I could have everybody again close their cameras and have the new elected XCOM please turn on your cameras and
I'm
your
on it.
mics.
Here am I.
Shama, please open it.
Right.
Toastmaster Umar
Right. Is everybody
open already? Yes, yes. I'm open. Okay, 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is Javed?
Yes,
Javed
Javed
not?
and Ali Asher. Ali Asher, please open the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Toastmaster Javed, are you
Is
there?
he able to be online?
I think he was online just now. Okay, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I'm here in this capacity as the installation officer as well as being the election officer. I'm here to install the officers of Karachi Toastmasters Club and to prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. Their collective challenge is to make this club strong, dedicated to helping people from all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, listen with sensitivity, and think creatively. I will request each of the officers to raise their hand, okay, since we do not have a gavel, to please raise their hand as a symbol of leadership as I briefly describe the challenges he or she must meet and the responsibility he or she must fulfill.
Imran should be asked to raise his hand too. I mean, why does he get to not raise the hand?
He's raising his hand. He's raising his hand. Right. Toastmaster Shamam, is it possible for you to turn on your camera too?
Yes. Toastmaster Shamam.
Is she disconnected?
That's not opening her.
Okay.
Camera is not opening for some odd reason.
Can we unmute her
Yes,
mic?
yeah, now.
Yeah. Toastmaster Shamam?
Now that's open.
Okay. Still can't see her and her mic is still muted. All right. Since I've asked you all to raise your hands, okay. Okay. I'm going to start by asking you all to say, will you all perform these duties to the best of your abilities? And I would like a resounding yes, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Great. Okay. Now I start with the president. Toastmaster Arusa Kamal, having been elected to the president of the club of Karachi Toastmasters Club, you are its executive officer and are expected to preside at all club meetings and at all regular and special meetings of your executive committee. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It's also your challenge to see that your club helps the area, division, district, and Toastmasters International to meet their goals. Please accept the challenge as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to the office. I'm not able to hand you a gavel, but can you at least maybe raise your hand as if you're holding the gavel? Okay, great. Wonderful.
I accept.
That's great. The gavel is a symbol of power and authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of your team as well as a leader. A member is more than a team is more than a collection of people. It is an emotional force rooted in the feelings, thoughts, and actions of all members with the common goal of achieving, sharing, and mutual support. Work with your team members to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone is proud. Will you, as president, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Great. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to take. I now need to go on to the next member. Just 1 second.
Can I put my hand down?
Yes, you may. You said I will. Of course you may. Okay. Right. Now I now declare, it's my pleasure to declare these Toastmasters installed into the office to which they have been elected. Will everyone please stand? And I'm not sure that you all can stand, but I would request everybody to please turn on your cameras. The growth and development of the Toastmasters program in Karachi Toastmasters depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor as members, and I'm asking all members, kindly turn on your mics now and your cameras if it's possible, because I am now asking members. On your honor as members of Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and work with it throughout the coming year? And we all have to say, we will.
Yes, we will.
We will.
Yes,
We
we
will.
will. We will.
That's great. That's wonderful. So, will the newly installed club president and immediate past president please join me on the lectern? And we don't have a lectern. We have cameras. So, Toastmaster Urusa, Toastmaster Imran, if you could have your cameras and mics on, and if everybody else would please mute your cameras and mics. Toastmaster Imran Rana, as immediate past president of the club, Karachi Toastmasters Club, will you offer the president's, we don't have a president's pin, but will you offer your support to Toastmaster Arusa Kaval as a symbol of her dedication and service?
She is so super duper intelligent woman. She didn't need that, but I'll be there for her.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Toastmaster Arusa Kaval, as the president of Karachi Toastmasters Club, will you offer the past president's pin to the immediate past president for his dedication and service?
Yes.
So that's your support to him. We don't actually have the pin, sadly.
Yeah.
But you are both basically pledging support to each other. Thank you so much. Right. And with this, you are now installed as the newly elected ExCom of Karachi Toastmasters Club for the year 2021. I leave the lectern or the post now with the president of the club, Toastmaster Arusa Kaval. if you would please like to address the club a final time. Thank you.
I hadn't prepared for this address at all. So I think we'll do good. We have a new team. We have excellent Toastmasters for this year, and I think we'll do good. Back to you. Back to whoever is going to take charge.
So looking good in green t-shirt. मैं कहता
Thank you,
looking good in
members.
green t-shirt. I
Thank
was
you,
saying कि
members.
आप अगर मैं आपको इस वक्त co-host बना दूं और मीटिंग लीव कर दूं तो कोई इशू तो नहीं होगा ना? नहीं, क्योंकि मैं ऑफिस में हूं और
Right.
मैं निकलना चाह रहा हूं, तो मैं आपको होस्ट बना के
Toastmaster Razan, we can hear you loud and clear.
Everything.
Sorry.
No, I was certainly not talking to Faizan.
That's all good. So Toastmaster Talha, would you take over as tech host as per our SAA's request? And thank you again, Toastmaster Faizan Abbasi, for your dedication and sticking around for such a long meeting. Godspeed getting home and facing your wife or whoever's at home. With that, I would like to hand back the charge now. The Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Hiba Rais. Thank you all very much for your patience. Thanks. Can we please have the guests back in, whoever's in the break? Thank you.
Guests have left for home.
I wish to thank you, Toastmaster Hina, for conducting such amazing elections. Seriously, I can't think of a better person who could have hosted this session. So thank you so much.
So is my voice audible? So should I continue with the third session or is it too late?
I think we should continue. We should wind up as soon as possible.
We should wind up the meeting quickly. Yes. Thank you,
Okay,
Toastmaster.
now, yes. So I suppose TM Saad, the Toastmaster table topic master, had called for the votes for the best table topic speaker. Toastmaster Saad, have you?
Yes, you already did. Yes, you have.
Yes, I have.
Okay, now, so this is for the, now we start the third session. I would like to invite the general evaluator for this session, DTM Talha bin Hamid. The floor is yours now.
So much, Toastmaster of the day. So we've all close to dinner and we are hungry. So this will be a good time to repeat that favorite sentence of ours, that feedback is the breakfast of champions. So we can amend that to feedback is the dinner of champions. So actually, now we will start with the journal evaluation session, and that is the crux of every Toastmasters meeting. The first speech was done by Toastmaster Maria, and I don't envy the wait between her speech.